In 2015, we left the rat race and went to the farm. We bought a 100-year-old farmhouse and 9 acres. After 3 years of extensive renovations, we can finally call ourselves College Hill Farm. Welcome back to College Hill Farm. Today, we're planting potatoes. Last night, I got my potatoes ready to be planted. That means I cut them so that I could get several plantings out of one potato. Here's an example of those where we cut them. Now I'll get one full potato plant out of that. But you'll notice, see how it's blackening a little bit? That's okay. That's the scar that formed last night while this potato was out. I left it out on the porch so that these scars would form, and that will keep the potato from rotting in the ground. Now, have I planted them without that? Yes. But I don't know if it really makes any difference, but the old timers say it does. So I went ahead and did it this way this year. Now we've got our ground ready, so I've got lots of potatoes to put in the ground, so it's time for us to get started. Okay, we're going to start off planting our non-traditional potatoes. If you remember what those were from the last video, they're blue Adirondacks and red Pontiacs, and this is how much I'll plant of those. They'll do us for the year. This is a 2.5 gallon bucket, and I'll plant a 2.5 gallon bucket of each one, and that will be our colored potatoes for the year. And I'll start off with Adirondacks, and I'm going to put them when we did our garden. Turn that around there, see where you can see it. When we did our garden, you'll notice that there are furrows. The way I use my tiller, I make it to a way that leaves us a nice furrow. Now I'll plant these potatoes about 8 inches apart, 6 to 8 inches apart, all the way down. And I'll plant as far back as it'll come. It'll probably go 1 row down and maybe a half a row back. And then the red Pontiacs will follow right after. So I'm going to go ahead and start. Okay folks, I have 2 rows in the ground. I really don't like to leave them out in the sun, so I want to go ahead and cover them. But before I cover them, I want to give them a little fertilizer. Now, potatoes are one of those things that if you give them too much nitrogen, you're going to get all vines and no potatoes. But they do need potash, potassium, and phosphorus. So what I'm going to do, or what I do, at the end of the year, I buy 10-10-10 fertilizer, or 12-12-12, whichever one happens to be the cheapest. And the reason I do that, I buy at the end of the year last year. Now a lot of people say, well, don't store your fertilizer over the winter, it ruins it. Well, I actually open mine to the air in the winter. The ones I use for my potatoes, I always buy 2 bags when it's cheap at the end of the growing season. And I open the bag a little bit, and a lot of that nitrogen evaporates. It turns into ammonia gas, and it comes out of the fertilizer. So instead of having 10-10-10, I probably have 4-10-10. Maybe even 3-10-10, which doesn't matter. It's got a little bit of nitrogen, which is all your potatoes need, but it's got a lot of potassium and phosphorus. So that's what I do. Now, I don't put a lot of fertilizer on my potatoes. I put just enough to do the job. And I'll show you that in just a second. I use a very expensive distributing system. A cut-off bottle and a 5-gallon bucket. So this is how I put my fertilizer on. It's not hard. I don't use a whole lot. I'll let you see how I distribute it. That's it for the fertilizer for those plants. Now come back with my healers and cover them. You could cover them with a hoe. For me, I'd rather use the tractor. It's just so much faster and easier on me, because that's about 1/8 of the potatoes that I'm going to plant today. So I've got to go ahead and get at it. I'll go ahead and hill those in because I don't like them to sit out in the sun after I put the fertilizer on them. And I'll go ahead and hill those and then get at the others. I'd like to tell you that covering them with the hillers is so much easier, and it is really a lot easier. Sometimes though, a potato will come up on top of the hill instead of staying down in the trench. I don't know if I get them up on the side when I'm dropping them, but it's not a big deal. Just go over and kick some dirt over them. So that's what I'm going to go do, and then that's how we plant our potatoes. I'd like to thank you for visiting with us at College Hill Farm today. I hope you found our videos entertaining and or informative. If you did, please like, share, subscribe, and comment on both Facebook and YouTube. Until then, I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.